It was a couple videos ago that I had to get a music anime for a video of mine, which led me to this anime named Nana. I always tell myself that I have to watch this someday. Eventually I get around to doing so. I was sure I've seen it before, at least just maybe a clip here and there, but I knew I've seen it before. After some late night binging, I decided to watch it. Honestly, I don't know what to make of it. I'm not used to romance animes too well. It's always some tale of how these two were destined for each other, and how everyone just lives happy ever after. Which just makes me sick. That's just not how life works. How it works out in the end, which is just a bunch of crap to me. In the end, the last couple of chapters are the same. It's all just a harem in the end to me. Lovers fight, lovers cheat. Lovers end up lying to each other, deceiving, betraying. That's all I see out of it, with people clamoring on for attention. Once their lover leaves them, they're just a black hole in a void trying to suck in the next person that just comes in. Which, if you were watching this show or watching this anime, it is a pretty accurate way of describing it. This 2016 47 episode MadHouse smash is about Nana. Well, to keep it frank, the two girls named Nana. Both Nanas could have just went on with their lives without even meeting each other. Well, at least that's how I want to say it. And it's just interesting how one person can really change your life, how a complete stranger is able to become your roommate or even become your best friend. Even if you haven't known them for long at all, and maybe just a year spent together, or maybe even just a summer. What I like most about this show is that you're not just along for the ride, but you're actually looking from the outside. You're able to hear the thoughts of the characters, or, be more accurate, you're able to hear the thoughts of Nana, the two Nanas, who are narrating the entire story. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to first call the first Nana as her nickname, Hachi or Hachiko, throughout the video. Hachi narrates most of the story and the first 30 episodes of it, usually in past tense, like the events have already happened before, or they've already moved on, or she's living with the decisions that she's made up to this point, and that her and Nana aren't as close as they used to be, or maybe Nana's dead. Really, at the beginning you don't know exactly where life takes these two. The two meet on the train where they are both going to Tokyo to live out their new lives, ultimately trying to get their wants and desires out. I can't say dreams because that's not exactly how Hachi ended up being there. Hachi was still with her boyfriend at the time, who's living in Tokyo. Nana didn't say much about herself at all. Later we find out she was in a band back home, and we get to learn more about Hachi as she's telling the story. Now, during the story, it's very important that she points out her past with men. This innocent face and loud voice that was always smiling wasn't so innocent. For more PG terms, she was boy crazy, or I can put it up there at the top, but yeah, you kinda get it. And of course, love in a lot of ways ends up leading to sex, and truly, her garden was pretty ripe. It was ripe. By the time she meets her boyfriend at the time, Shoji, she was fed up with him and wanted to take things slow. Shoji wasn't good with saying the right things to her. Nana only liked him because he liked her, nothing more really. She was selfish. She was stubborn. And the only person she could think about was herself. And dependent on anyone that would allow her to do so, she was just not independent, but dependent. She would also blurt out crap whenever she was backed into a corner, or ultimately, she couldn't run away from the situation, ultimately pushing him away. To her first made-up fantasy girlfriend, to then quickly be the very real girlfriend he was cheating on her with. When he cheated, it destroyed her. Usually I would see it as wrong as just messed up, but this time I understood. I was able to actually kind of relate. Kyosuke and Junko are a lot of a way the parent or the married couple friend that are able to get Nana's life straight, or at least put her on a path. Looking from the outside into her life, able to make decisions for her and help her ultimately go through with it. Being the one that put Nana with Shunji, They're the mutual friends involved, and being responsible and knowing that she was as to blame just as much as he was for cheating. These two have just as much screen time as any other character, oftentimes discussing her situation and trying to make her grow up. Nana from Blast has her own life counselor, that'd be Yasu. He is her guardian in a way. Whenever she's in a situation she can't speak to Hachi about, there he is. There was a point in the anime where he was a love interest, but as soon as it came up, he went to Ren about it and gave him an ultimatum that ended it all. Basically saying, if you're not going to take her serious, I'll take her for myself. Yasu is the leader of Blast and is the one that handles all the business and the negotiations and the emotions of his members, looking at the best interest of them as people and not just a product to put out for the mainstream world to know. Truly, these three characters understand what their friends have gone through and want things to turn out well. But as adults, knowing this life isn't a fairy tale, after Hachi's breakup, she's depressed, but that's when Blackstone or Blast start playing gigs and are practicing. During this time, the two Nanas get close. Hachiko is able to get a new member into the band, Shin, who at first is just this excited kid to be a part of the group, who quickly becomes less and less innocent. And the kid, like them, turns. The kid is a runaway with a past he doesn't want to talk about. By the weeks go by, more and more he's developing habits like piercings, and he starts drinking and smoking. Nana tries to stop him and step in and be some sort of role model, but with her really not being anywhere near a role model to tell Shin what he should be doing at his age. Whenever he speaks to Nobu one-on-one, he is in a lot of ways able to get straight to the point and ask the hard questions, in a way the psychological questions. I know I haven't talked too much about Nana, but that's because her situation isn't so complicated as she might make it sound or seem. The character is pretty straightforward in a lot of ways, leaving not much up to what it is we are wondering about her. As a character, she sees Hachi kind of like a pet or property. I mean, as a friend, she wants the best for her, but naturally she wants to control the situation to keep her close to her. When Hachi was being cheated on, Nana was the one to confront the two about it and wanted to fight them, not Hachi. When she saw that she was interested in Takami, she invites him over, and once she sees they're getting close and actually serious, she puts Nobu in a position to step in and steal her away, make it inconvenient for herself. It is true that Takami is a player who's also just a jerk, who does this all the time with women, but for some odd reason, he fell harder for Hachiko. And the only odd reason, what makes it so odd, what I'm saying is, basically, I don't see why. I mean, sure, she's pregnant, but why exactly did he do it? What he's about to do next, which is Hachiko's boyfriend breaks up with her, cheats on her, like I said. They have a one-night stand, and then honestly, it should have ended there. It really should have. Then Hachiko, thinking that she was just too easy the entire time, and then Hachiki just calling her or seeing her whenever he felt like it, really. Neither side really was making a commitment to each other or really giving...
Please, just make up an excuse. Do it for my sake. Even if it's a lie, I don't care. I'll believe anything.
A proper title. He doesn't take it too seriously until Nobu has feelings for her. Like a stew, it doesn't really begin until all the ingredients are put into the pot. Hachiko, the girl that falls easily for anyone, with a past of men that is honestly too long of my hand couldn't count all of them, really. Nana, the girl whose man was ready to settle down, but she wanted to beat him, or she wanted more. She didn't just want to be some housewife. The band members that threw away their life for the band. And lastly, Trap Nest. Okay, Trap Nest. How to start with this? The mainstream band that was destined for success. Takami, the leader, or the head, or the emperor as you want to look at it. The princess Layla, who sings, who's also Yasu's ex. Rin, the bass player who's Nana's longtime boyfriend, the pot is really ready to boil at this point, which it does when they all find out that Hachiko is pregnant. At the time of the pregnancy, she was with Nobu, but finds out she's pregnant. Logically, the way the month works, it's not his. The two were so happy together, and she was gonna be happy with him, but not able to run away or move on in the situation. She just sits there and cries. She's ashamed. She can't have him or give him a proper apology throughout the entire series moving forward. Takumi, being the cold, controlling type, took control of the entire situation, and he just kind of gave Nobu an ultimatum of, I know what I'm going to do. Do you know what you're going to do? Nobu's just shocked, and he doesn't know how to move forward. The two of them just don't know what to do at this point. Like, literally a day before, they were having, they were making up, talking to each other. Like, it seemed just fine, how their life was just going to be fine. Really, if it was going to have, this anime was going to have some happy ending, it would have ended right there, right? Well, it doesn't. When she leaves to go get counseling from Kayosuke and Junko keeps it incredibly blunt, not holding anything back, with her coming to the conclusion that Takumi was the better choice, no matter if there's no love there, or that she is not going to be happy in the end. The fact is, Nana wants to have the baby, but once this situation happens, I can totally see how the situation will end up, and how the narrative this story had is in past tense. So many characters are sad at this point and angry. This is happening. It just happened literally all in a day. It was shocking. Nana just says it the best in episode 36. She chose this life, following the decision the two talked about marriage instead of being co-parents. But Hachi doesn't want to speak anymore, nor does she want to narrate the story. In a lot of ways, what happens next is up to Nana to decide or to determine. Nana's confused and angry with the fact that she's having a baby and how she hurt her and Nobu. But as a friend to Nobu, she can't just leave him there. And Blast basically just blackballs her entirely, not talking to her about it and not bringing up her name at all. Shin and Nana clash with each other, and they say something to each other that really sparks some nerds. Like, she was saying like he's just another spoiled brat who's not practicing enough, and how he's basically just a prostitute who doesn't really work for his money. Shin isn't gonna take this lying down, okay? So he plays her right into a spot, leaving her into clues, into punchlines, and destroys her in a way. Admitting he's a prostitute, but at least he works for the money, calling her a parasite who leeches off other people. All the things she owns is basically just someone's gifts to her. That summer, the group makes a lot of memories. That night, a lot of minds are made up. Shin is just a teen who doesn't understand what love is, like a lot of characters in the group in general. Once confronting Hachi, he realizes he's a Nagashi and goes off after Layla. I haven't spoken much about her, so I'll just make it quick. Layla, not telling her feelings to anyone really, is in love with Takashi, but while she's trying to keep it a secret, she makes it obvious, that so much obvious that everyone knows about it. You know how like in other animes, you can always tell of the main character? It's very obvious with her. Everyone knows. Yasu dumped her because he didn't think he could compete with him. Shin's been sleeping with her for business ends up going for her. Shin sees Hachi as a mom, while Hachi sees the situation as what she doesn't want to end up as. Shin's mom killed herself right after having him. His father is not the biological father, with that sounding all too familiar to Hachiko. Hachi comes to the conclusion about the men she's loved up to this point, and she finally makes a decision. Blast versus Trappiness. This is basically the final chapter, with the two Nanas not speaking to each other from really a long time. Talks of the wedding start to come up, and the characters are moving on to the next person. Nana is stuck in the past. The series ends with the group making a vow to each other, early making with Hachiko. And you see Hachiko and her daughter Sasuke 6 years later. Nobu comes to a resolution, and the two Nanas growing up and coming into their new lives, not able to change or go back. The characters don't serve to play a trope, but a role in life. The people in this world have wants and desires that shape how their actions are going to take them. Saying that this was played in 7 different languages maybe smashes an understatement. Really, the best part is when they're able to go talk to one or other person about how they actually feel. Around this entire cast, they all seem to have at least one person or maybe more they can talk to about in a certain situation, or get an opinion about a person or the situation in general. Truly, the characters want to go on and on about how Nana is just dependent on other people, or just someone, myself included, but deep down, even the so-called strong characters are just all teddy bears in the end, who all just need counseling. The characters that give a proper introduction aren't really left out of the story, but in the end, this love story doesn't have a cut and dry happy ending, and it's hard to make really a set conclusion about what's going to happen. But like I said, like with Shin's situation, his mother killed himself. 6 years into it, Nana's still having tendencies when seeing Nabu, so it's really hard to say exactly how things are going. And in the end, they said they were going to make a vow, but Nana wasn't there herself. Truly hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, I'll just say this now. Nana, the anime, has a lot involved into it. There's a lot into the stories and the characters individually, and really 16 minutes, 17 minutes isn't enough time to explain every little detail about this anime. So I suggest you go watch for yourself if you're still thinking, hey, you left out some parts here and there, or you're just interested. But as always, that is Barry Anime, and I'm signing out. I'm hungry. Peace.